You are nothing, and you are everything. Your destiny is not defined, and no matter what happens to you, you can change your situation. Now, there are different categories of people, I would say. There are different things that you fit into, but those are fluid, and you can change them, except your gender. You cannot change that. But at the end of the day, you can change how you respond to people. Now, you can go one of two ways: the cold or the flame. You can go the cold, you're icy, maybe you're a little witty, smart aleck, and you're distant with people. You don't really have much emotion about you, and when you do have emotion, it's always a negative emotion. Don't get me wrong, those people we need in the world to yell at some people. There's some bad people in the world that need to be yelled at, need to be authoritative over them. Someone needs to tell them to quiet, you know what I mean? So, in customer service, we need somebody like that, but we also need somebody that is nice, optimistic, positive, sees the best in people. And having those two people work together is very important because it brings out the best in each of them. You see, the positive person is trying to keep in check the negative person. Let's say you're a nihilist versus optimist. I mean, really, that's what it comes down to. So you've got an optimist that is calming the nihilist down, or pessimist down, from overstepping on that negativity. And the pessimist, or the negative person, is keeping in check that the optimist, or the happy-go-lucky, eccentric person, doesn't get used by other people. Now, a lot of optimists that see the best in people usually get taken advantage of by terrible people. Whether that's financial, financial or mental, or just wasting time, or quite frankly, just trying to suck the emotions out of them, their lifespan. Just like, hey, please be nice to me. Be nice to me because I deserve it. No, you don't. You're a terrible person. And I can tell because you're trying to manipulate this person right now. I see it because I see the worst in you. They don't because they think you're better than that. Or they're giving you another chance in their head. What you need to understand is that our lives, I would say, are a spectrum of these different ideals. You have on the right side, and don't get me wrong, this is a little bit political, but I would say that the left, or Democrats, see the best in people. They see an idealistic world. They want to have a perfect world where the government just pays for everything, and we have free healthcare, and everything's just jolly. And we focus on what's right, what we want, what should be. I would say that that's what Democrats go for. On the left, that's a thing I would say that they're optimists, because you have to be optimistic to believe that there is a utopia. Then you have pessimistic people. Typically, some pessimistic people, or Republican, are on the right side, and they're going to be realistic. Now, I know this is semantics, and really this is just my opinion. And quite frankly, negative people are very realistic. Negative people see the worst in people. They're very nihilistic, pessimistic. They believe in conspiracy theories on how the world is going to shit and we're going to go in an apocalypse. Now, these are generalizations, don't get me wrong. There are people on both sides that are centered better than that. But on the complete opposite spectrums, there's a very big coincidence, at least, between the two. And I think it's very important that we try to center ourselves every day. If you recognize yourself as someone that's right-leaning, you recognize yourself as a nihilist, or maybe you recognize yourself as an optimist, or more left-leaning to democratic ideology, I'm not saying either one of them are bad. They both have their points. Basically, we both want the same thing. We want a good world. We want a positive world. We want a world that's filled with a lot less pain. We want a world where we have freedom of choice. We want a world where we are free and happy to do whatever we want, and there's not that much crime, and financially we're not that bad, and we can get enough food, and our jobs aren't that shitty, and we get paid pretty decent for our jobs. We all want that. It's just we have different means in how we get there. On the left side, you believe in a utopia. You believe that anything is possible, and as long as we raise the minimum wage, everything will work out. The reality is that that minimum wage really just inflates the entire market. And that minimum wage, don't get me wrong, is very important, but if raised too fast, it's not really minimum wage anymore, is it? Then it's just, bare minimum. So then, let's say, right now, if you make $15 an hour, you can't buy your own house. If you make $30 an hour, you can't buy your own house. You can make $30 an hour, and you can marry someone else that makes $30 an hour, and then you can comfortably buy a house right now. Here's the problem. Minimum wage is maybe $15 an hour. So that's not really happening that well. You cannot survive on that. You can rent a house or a really shitty apartment, I guess, but who wants to live like that? And don't get me wrong, I know, guess what? There are people that need to work at McDonald's. And McDonald's is not a high-paying job, and it never really should be. It's a job for high schoolers. Anyone who's still there after high school, kudos to you, but I hope you're a manager, because it's not, you don't deserve that. High schoolers need that because they need discipline. But hopefully when you get to an older age, I would hope that you have the capacity to get a higher paying job. My point is that if you are leaning to one side where you're very optimistic or very pessimistic, you should try to branch out. I identify myself as a very pessimistic person. Part of it is my family upbringing. The other part is my life experience. Not just in my home, but outside of that. And having my life experience, my home experience, as well as just my foundation and my being that I believe in. Everything that I've resonated with over time definitely tends to lean to the right. Now, don't get me wrong, there's very good points on the left, I would say. When religion gets involved in the right, they're kind of paradox of their own things. Take, for example, this, right? We believe in freedom for everything. Freedom, America, right? Republican country, right? But then, when it comes time to abortions, that's when religion kicks in, and we say, nope, pro-life. I'm just confused on that. To be honest, I see fair points on both sides, and I also see terrible points on both sides. At the end of the day, if we have freedom of choice, and you're a Republican and maybe you're a hardcore Catholic Christian, and you don't want to get an abortion, that is up to you. And if you are, hell, you could be a Republican too. You could be a Catholic, Republican, Christian, everything. And every day your pastor talks about how you shouldn't get an abortion, and you have to get one because you're 18 years old and you have a whole life ahead of you, and that baby just isn't the right time. But you also don't want to give the baby up for adoption or any of the other methods, because foster homes are pretty shitty. They're pretty shitty lives. I would say that a lot of adopted kids can have good lives, and a lot of adopted kids cannot. I mean, going through your whole life feeling like, damn, I got adopted. I guess my original parents didn't really care for me. That's tough. That's rough. And maybe that comes off a little bit too harsh, but I would say that we probably freedom of choice. You see what I mean? Is once we get into the semantics on it, it's like, how about you just make your own choice? Because to be honest, you can't, it's tough, right? If you want to say preserve all human life, and if we got the foster care system in check, and we said, okay, our adoption system is in check, and no matter what's going on, you can adopt your kid out, then, you'll be out of work for maybe half a month. Oh, shoot. Hang on. I gotta get out of here. I don't know what's going on. Somebody broke a tire. Oh, I don't know what she's doing. Lock my doors there. And we're not doing that. Anyways. Yeah, I'm not helping with that. I'm sorry. I just don't know what's going on with that. I don't know. I don't know what that's supposed to be. Anyways, okay, I guess we're good now. Anyways, what I was getting back to is those are two very strained ideologies you've got, optimist versus pessimist, right? Now, that being said, there's other things that you can be. Now, take for example, you're a very angry person. Maybe you're a very jealous person. Maybe you're a very intelligent person. Maybe you're very empathetic to other people. You're a nice person. You're very nice to people. Not really authentic, but at least you're nice. Or maybe you're a funny guy. Or you're really good with computers. All of these things are small variables about yourself that make up your identity. And if you try to dilute yourself down to one concept, you're just going to be that. Let's say I'm a blonde hair, blue-eyed white boy. If that's all I say about myself, that's who I am. That's your entire identity. Do you want your entire identity for that? Now, as a white boy, I cannot talk about anything else regarding that, but just switch out the race and gender and hair color, and you can do the math yourself. Let's say you're blah, 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 blah. Now you identify yourself as blah, 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 blah. Okay, I'm not going to say it. Now, you took that as your identity. Now, you take that and you talk to people about stuff, right? What if you keep bringing that up? You make a joke about it. You make a joke about your skin tone. You're reinforcing what they already know. They know you're white. They know you're blonde. They know you're blue-eyed, right? They can make jokes about you, but try not to make too many jokes about what you look like. Because quite honestly, first of all, it's weird. Second of all, you're diluting yourself down to that one concept that they already know about you. They already know you're white. They can already see your skin tone. So if you dilute yourself to a singular concept like that, then people are not going to listen to you. They're not going to care about you. They're not going to care to really learn anything more about you because they already know everything they need to know. You are this, you're this, you're this, boom, done. You're four things. You're boring. And that's what I was getting to again, is stop being boring. Now, how do you not be boring? Well, let's say you're a pessimist. Let's say you're a Republican. If your entire personality revolves around that, and you very much show off to people that, don't get me wrong, you believe in what you believe. And maybe you believe in it very strongly. I respect that. But at the same time, you have to put yourself in other people's shoes. And once you put yourself in other people's shoes, you'll be able to see, first of all, how they see you and how extremist you may seem. Because remember, if you are over here and someone's over here, you over here to them is over here. So when you are slightly right-wing, You have to prove to them that you're not that far right. You have to say that, yes, I am a centered person. I lean a little bit to the right, but I'm still relatively in the center on my belief system. I acknowledge there are some bad people on both sides, and I acknowledge that I try not to get into that far right or that far left. You have to prove to people that you're not one of those things. If you don't prove it to them, they're going to assume that you are way out there and you are a little fucking loco. And you don't want to do that. So what else can you do? Well, I think you should improve the way you think, how you think. You should be more perspicacious. You should think more. I think you should learn a little bit about psychology, not just for others, but for yourself. How you think and how others think and how you are perceived by others. Communication is very valuable, and I hope to learn a lot from these videos. If you can't learn communication, well, you're kind of fucked. I'm gonna be real. Because there's only so much you can do non-verbally. Don't get me wrong, non-verbal body language is very important. You can do a lot with that. If you turn your RBF bitch face upside down and do a little, "Hi, how can I help you today?" Maybe. I don't know. There's not much you can do. But if you know how to articulate yourself, you know how to change your voice inflection, you know how to get people's attention, and you know how to, first of all, have stuff to say. Are you the type of person that just kind of go, "Oh yeah, weekend, oh yeah, yeah, oh wow, did you catch the Mets game? Okay, yeah, oh, I don't know, oh yeah, that's pretty, oh wow, really? I didn't know that." You gotta contribute to the conversation, my guy. Like, you gotta be able to know stuff. And don't get me wrong, don't start researching stupid facts, right? But understanding human psychology is gonna be valuable to you. And I'm gonna start studying it soon too, actually, just a little bit more. I also want to know about history. I also want to know about current events. I want to know about funny stuff that's going on. I want to know about sports a little bit. And just having a general consensus on different religions as well. Maybe you're a Christian. Go learn about Judaism. I know it's literally the difference between believing in Jesus or not, but learn about, Allah. Learn about Buddhism. There's different ways for you to broaden your scope on life. First of all, it's going to give you a better perspective on anything. It's going to be able to help you put yourself in other people's shoes. And those are very valuable things. If you can't put yourself in other people's shoes, then you can't see yourself in other people. And if you can't see them as yourself or see them as other humans and see them as other people, you're just going to look at them like, okay, And once you start dehumanizing a person, that's where you get angry at them. That's where you outcast them. That's where you treat them worsely. And you don't want to do that. First of all, because it's your fault. It's your fault for not trying to see where they're coming from. And it's your fault for not trying to figure out, how can I learn how this person sees the world? Another thing, I brought this up before, but I would say that the lens in which people see the world is very valuable. Looking into someone's eyes, their eye color, means everything, because first of all, good eye contact means you're in the conversation. Second of all, everyone's eyes are different. And being able to look into somebody's eyes and see them for who they are, it's going to get you a better connection with them. And third of all, the lens in which they see the world, how you perceive the world, is very valuable. And you're able to do that by looking at someone and talking to them. talking to them about how their beliefs are and how their eyes look. Putting those two together is how they perceive everything around them. And once you have that, then you start reading their mind. It's not manipulation bullshit. It really is just part of communication. I need to communicate with this person, and the best way to do it is to know where they're coming from, know how they're thinking, know what is going on inside their head. And once you're doing that, it makes more sense. Everything makes more sense. You're going to have a better time communicating with people. And quite honestly, communication with other people is very important. If you isolate yourself, you can only say, I'm an introvert for so long before you are absolutely fucked. I would say you need to not fuck yourself, and you need to communicate with people. You need to learn how to communicate with people. I'm not the best at it. I have social anxiety too, and I'm thinking that this is a great way to get better at that, I guess you could say. But yeah, I think you should stop being social anxiety ridden. I think you should learn how to communicate and stop just trying to tell yourself, I'm an introvert, whatever. No. Dude, just because you say that doesn't get you very far. I'm an introvert. No, you say, I'm an introvert and I'm learning how to be an extrovert. That's what you need to be doing. If you're not doing that, what the fuck are you doing? You need to learn that. It's a skill. It's very important. First of all, build rapport with your bosses. Get a raise. Build rapport with relationships. Get a relationship. Maybe 2, if you're feeling lucky. Build more friendships. That's pretty good. Build better relationships with your coworkers. Now your coworkers have your back. You have a better time at work. And also when it comes time to raises, guess who's in line? You. Because everyone likes you. And they're not bad talking you behind your back. All of those things are very valuable. Again, communication. I guess that's what we're talking about all over again. So, find balance in your life. And if you think that you're down to 3 or 4 constructs, expand upon your variance in your life. And I think you'll do pretty well. Anyways, that's everything. And I'll see you. Have a good one.